Speaking of Kanye, the doc is officially finished. We got all
Yes.
three parts on Wednesday. We're recording today on Saturday.
I'm sad. I like looking
So
forward to something every Wednesday.
how did you feel about the doc in totality?
I think it was good. I think a lot of people, like, remember I was saying to you a while ago, like, I was like, we need a Kanye documentary. Then when I found out this was coming out, I was like, okay, good. 'Cause I was like, I feel like it just sucks at the timing with all the stuff with him and his divorce because I feel like it overshadowed the doc. I feel like a lot of people would have really watched it. I mean, it's still people were watching. It was popular, and the nosy people are still gonna watch it. The people who say they hate him and are criticizing him, but have his post notification on clearly, could they comment first? They're probably gonna watch it too. But it just sucks because I feel like it's overshadowing that. Like you look up Kanye and it's all tweets right now of like, oh, he's stalking his ex, he's abusive. Like it's sad because it's like this was a good documentary, and you think about Cootie and like TK and like all the hard work, and it's like, dang, like your documentary low key is being overshadowed by his like nonsense right now, kind of like. But I think it was really good. That's why, like, if you think about it, it was like an hour and 40 minutes each, an hour 35 minutes. So that's like what we got, like 4.5 hours of footage. That's crazy. So I think it was inspiring. It was cool to see that he's always been himself. That's why I hate when people keep saying like the old Kanye, because he literally is like when he was doing the speech in the last episode, like at the school. I mean, that's literally the same Kanye all over the place with his thoughts. Can't continue with thought, this rambling kind of, but still making sense. And being confident in himself and saying that he thinks he's the best, and that we all should feel that way about ourselves. And I feel like people need to hear that because they think that he's so arrogant, and they think he's better than people. But it's like, you should think you're better. Like you're you. Like, remember I told you today when we drive around New York, I'm like, I feel like I'm the main character because I am. I'm the main character in my life. I'm me. I'm living in my body. Like I am the main character. And I look, I'm seeing people, me making eye contact with people in the car, and they're looking at me, and I'm a side character in their life, and they feel like they're the main character. We should all feel that way about yourself. We should all feel like we're the main character. Like, I hate when people try to say, "Oh, you think you're the main character?" Like, yeah, I do, because this is my life. I have to live every day in this body. Why not feel the way, why not feel that way about yourself? You have to live in your body. You can't do nothing about it unless you die. Like, you have to wake up every day as you. So why not be the best you and think you're the best and think you're the main character in this world? Like, so I think the documentary gives good insight into that's what he meant. Like he said, everybody should feel that way about himself. I think I'm the best. You should think you're the best too. And in your world, you are. And in my world, I'm the best. I don't think there's wrong with that. So I feel like it was like very inspiring. It's a good story of like, it just keep going. And like, because honestly, all that stuff with the Rockefeller thing in the first episode, someone like me, I like to prove people wrong. So I wouldn't necessarily give up. I know a lot of people would, just simply of that.
So there was a story I heard about this, and thank you to Maul, of course, the Rory and Maul podcast, who was in those buildings during that time.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm shocked we didn't see him. Because remember, we thought we might see Maul.
Yeah, he was saying that the reason why a lot of those people were reacting the way that they were reacting was that Kanye would come in every single day and play the same song in their office every single day. But in the middle of all that, Jay-Z was recording some of his biggest songs that we know today, like during that same time. So it's like you have your boss and CEO and creator of the company, also the biggest rapper in the world at that point, making crazy songs. So the building is buzzing there, and then you have somebody that's unknown.
And you're working, like you are working.
Yeah,
like,
you saw they were on calls and stuff like that. Like
I don't think they necessarily were trying to ignore him, but they're working. Like those not really the people you would go to. I feel like to listen. I think he just wanted everybody to hear it.
Well, they kind of were, because they worked for like their job would be to listen to the song. Okay, like how are we gonna push this? How are we gonna market this? Because this was a time when there was no MP3 players. Everything was
that's
still
why
CDs.
the CD player was in their offices for a reason.
Yeah, like there was internet, of course, but it wasn't any social media. So when you got any buzz, it had to be radio and all that kind of stuff. You had to put up posters. You had to see how you're really gonna market these things. But yeah, it was interesting to see, but that was just another perspective I wanted to add.
I mean, I get that, but I still feel like if it was something that they wanted to hear, they would come up like, okay. Like, I feel you could still kind of like nod your head, but I guess the perspective of he was in there every day, they might have heard it already.
Yeah, that's what Maul was saying, that he was in there playing the same song like 100 times.
Yeah. I mean, I respect
yeah, of course.
Respect that even more now.
Yeah.
I think that was just Cootie's first time experiencing that with him. Maybe. Because he has 800 hours of footage. So he might have been there more.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would release more random footage, because I saw there was like videos of like Kanye recording, I think, spaceships or some music video, like behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the final cut, but it was just he just released the footage on it was like Netflix's Instagram. I wonder if that's gonna keep happening or not.
Probably.
They just released random clips of like certain moments that didn't really make it to the doc.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they want them to release the whole 800 hours. You know, a lot of us kind of fans will watch that. I wouldn't watch it all in one sitting. But 800 hours, how many weeks of watching?
Was it 800 hours or was it
400?
Was it 80 or something? 800 hours.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't 800, but I feel like he said 800.
Let's calculate, because I don't even wait. 800 hours times 60. That's 48,000 minutes.
And that's 60 minutes an hour. So what's 48,000 divided by 60?
Ma'am, we're just going to go back to where we just were.
Maybe it was 800, but I could have swore he said that. It's 20 years of footage. But that's the thing, too. It wasn't exactly 20 years. But that's why in part 3, I was shocked, though, that a lot of that footage was his. Like, I didn't even realize it was like a picture from the Life of Pablo, like, listening party. And you literally see Cootie. Like, he was filming all that footage that we saw. Like, I was like, wow. Like, I thought that was just YouTube footage. I knew he was there, but I didn't know that was actually his footage.
Yeah, and
like,
also...
he was that viral video. Like, that was his stuff.
It was 20... The beginning date and the end date was 20 years, but it's not 20 years of continuous footage every single day.
I just was happy that we got to see more. So I honestly thought that the third part was going to be, like you said, all YouTube stuff. I was kind of like, oh God, like this might be a mess. Like this random, just for them to have a closing. But I was actually happy to see that we got a lot of videos of like stuff that was Cootie. Like you would see that Cootie was still in his life consistently. Like, they kind of drifted, but he was always there for him, and he always called him when he, wanted to see him. And I don't think he even asked Cootie to record too, right? Cootie probably was like, "Oh, we're gonna keep recording. I got footage. We're gonna keep recording your life."
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
I liked it. What was your favorite part? Because I liked the first and the third. Well, I liked all of them, but I actually liked the third one more than I thought I was gonna like. Even though the third one kind of gave me anxiety. Because that's when he was like,
I thought it was all good. Man, the only thing I wish, low-key, I'm going to put a little bit of hate here. I wish he was able to give that footage to... All right, so let me preface this, because this is going to sound like a wild statement. So obviously, Cootie was in the doc a lot because it was a story about his life as well. And it's not just about Kanye. You had to give perspective as to who he is and the moments in his life and all the stuff that was going on, so he could give additional context to Kanye's story and all that kind of stuff. Low key, I wish he was able to give that footage to someone else to make the doc, which might have made it a worse doc because it would have been told from a perspective of somebody that wasn't there. So
you think like the doc was in his perspective? That's why he narrated it.
Yeah, I think that, well, not just necessarily his perspective, but it was in a perspective of a family member, basically like a best friend. Mm-hmm. Like I want docs to be like kind of tell the story, but like I don't want to hear it from like someone that was kind of there.
Like you rather have had the person recording be like somebody who was just not Kanye's friend, but he just was recording.
I'd rather have been, not that like I didn't want Cootie to shoot it, but I want somebody else to edit the whole thing to like put out the full story
of just of Kanye's story and not of a story from like from like you said,
from a perspective of someone that was there.
Yeah, because like he, like I did think it was interesting, but like how he tried to tie in like the story of like his daughter, like my daughter was born, and he tried to Kanye had a kid too. I'm happy and try to make that connection with the kid thing. I think that was still him just trying to like. I mean, it was still good. But maybe I thought it would be interesting to have different versions. Like, we could have that version and then see if how someone else can make it. Because that is a lot of footage to go through. And, like, we don't know what was thrown away. That might have been really good to see. Yeah.
And that's no, like, not saying that it wasn't good at all. Because it was amazing. That was really, And I'm here for the music at the end of the day. So seeing those studio sessions and hearing the songs that when I was a kid I was listening to and seeing how it all came together,
they were making it,
was beautiful.
It's so crazy.
But I'm just saying in a perspective, I want, like, an unfiltered, unbiased, like, you might have to hold your tongue about certain things because that's family. You don't want to out them in a certain way. And I'm not saying that another filmmaker should do that. But, if you remove that, I think that it would give more like a riveting sort of like, I don't know, like a...
So how do you feel about Cootie cutting off the camera when Kanye was clearly going through his episodes? Because you saw that's how he was doing that a lot. And some people were like, oh, that was so sad. Like, he, like that time when he was like ranting outside with all those like business owners, right? And then he just like turned the camera down. And then the same thing when he was with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I think That's part of the reason why I'm saying that too. Like, he should have done that because that's his family.
Yeah, and
That's his
respect.
man. Like, if he's going through something, you don't need to document it. It's like the same thing I told you before, like when I was out in LA and just looking at the homelessness and you want to document it, but like, it's like, nah, those are people.
Or like how, because we was watching the video yesterday,
Yeah. You don't want to necessarily do those things. So he should have done that. But, at the same time, I want to know what the thought process is. Like, I want to see what he was going through. That's why I want like an unfiltered sort of doc where it's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even though he's going through something, I understand it, because if 10 million people watch it, 9 million people might feel negatively about what they're seeing.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to just absorb and try to comprehend what I'm seeing.
What it is, yeah.
So I view it differently.
Yeah.
So that's why I would kind of want it. But the doc was great.
I liked part 3 more than I thought I would. Cause I thought it was gonna be
I was nervous.
YouTube compilation.
I was nervous because I knew they weren't really rocking with each other, so I didn't know what other footage he might have had.
Yeah, and they still did a good job with like the timeline, cause they showed like the years and what they had. Even though a lot of those years weren't in depth because he wasn't around.
Yeah,
but I like how he always turned the camera on though when he saw him. Like you saw like that time he was like, oh, like fate had it. I saw Kanye because who was it? It was like somebody wanted him to film. Who was it? Like
GLC?
Consequence or something?
Oh, Common.
It was Common, yeah. And then it was like he happened to see Kanye at the show. He brought Kanye out, you know? So it was like, it was still cool that a lot of those filler pieces were there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that Kanye invited him on the Glow in the Dark tour too. I thought that at that point they already drifted, because I was already like 2007, 2008. But that was just messed up. They was like, there's no room for him. Like, that's crazy. I feel like I would have made room, right? I would have been, you gonna make room.
No, that's just an excuse,
Yeah.
Because Glow in the Dark tour was the first tour after his mom's death, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's the footage that we saw. No, but we saw the footage of him, remember? After his mom died. But then at that point, he said there was no room.
Yeah.
But then why invite him, though? Because he invited him after the death.
Yeah.
So maybe, we don't know where his headspace was like. He might have just been like, nah, never mind. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because maybe the recording might have reminded him of his mom. Called the footage that they had with his mom around. So maybe he just might not want a reminder of that. Like a reminder of home. Remember, that's what he was saying too. Like he was like, "Go home." Like, go home to what? Because that really was all he had. Like, he didn't have no siblings. He grew up with just his mom. So that's really sad. I didn't think about it in that way. Like, that was your home. Like, when you go home, like you had your sister, your brother, your parents. Like, that was just his home. Like, when I think of home, I think of my parents and 2 sisters. So it's like, imagine the only person I really thought about for home is gone. Like, that's depressing. And you saw his demeanor did change. And that's what Cootie said. Like, he did look different. Like, something looked different about him after that. It's like he lost a spark. So sad. But yeah. But yeah, I like the third part was like the most like nail biting. Though I feel like nail biting sounds dramatic, but that's just because like seeing like the episodes and like the spiral was like sad. Yeah. I mean, it did make me kind of like, not that I never believed like his mental health stuff, but it did kind of make me kind of like agree more. So that he's definitely struggling with something. It's easy to say like, oh, these white doctors are just misdiagnosing you, but clearly it's something. And I don't know. I've heard so many stories about how medication, sometimes people say it doesn't help them and they hate their medication. Or do you think that's, like, do you think that you have to find the best medication for you, or do you think that they're just saying that because they don't want to take it and they just feel like they don't need it?
I can't comment on that.
I know. Yeah, that's kind of a touchy subject, but I'm only asking that because it's just like, it makes you wonder, like, what, a lot of people do suffer from mental health, but like that people always say with that like it's still a choice to want to get better. And just makes you wonder if he knows he has that choice and he's just not wanting to get better, or if he's trying to get better and just can't, and just can't find the right medication. It just makes you wonder.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah. So Doc was good, and I'm sure we'll get more parts and to bring them all back up again. He said that his brother was shooting something for the doc, so that wasn't included in part 3. So I wonder what that might be for.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it's gonna be any more. Like, I'm gonna have to go to Cootie's page now that it's over and see if there's gonna be any more, that anything related that's coming out.
They had another event in SOBs that we could have went to.
When?
On Wednesday.
This Wednesday coming up?
Or Tuesday. No,
Oh,
it already
past
happened.
Wednesday. Oh, was it about
Episode 3.
Oh, okay.
I think they were watching it live or something like that, and they had like a party or something.
I wouldn't have wanted to watch it live with them. I like watching it here. But it would be interesting to see another event where they like talk about like talk more about the episode and stuff.
Yeah.